One of the things I love most about my colleague Aaron Bastani is his iconoclasm. He's not afraid to say things which sometimes seem a bit off the wall, and he doesn't mind upsetting dogmas, be they from the right, the centre, or the left. And sometimes, unsurprisingly, this gets him into trouble on Twitter. This was the latest example. This is Aaron tweeting a video of King Charles. It's a genuine indictment of the country's political class that Prince Charles, at one point strongly disliked by the British public, is an infinitely better representative for this country than any member of the government. And followed up, nice voice, Drake's ties, radical green politics in an understated way, a quiet internationalism while not bleating about how everyone you disagree with is a racist, a few things a successful left can take from Mr. Charles Windsor. Now, we haven't actually shown the ratios on there, but if we did, you would be able to see that got lots and lots of quote tweets and not as many retweets. Now, if you get lots of quote tweets and not as many retweets, that means there are lots of people getting angry at you. And less people saying, like, yes, Aaron, we love what you've said. Why were people getting so angry at you? And what's your thought behind these tweets? Respond to your critics, Aaron.
First of all, Michael, if Twitter was a barometer of anything, this country would have voted to remain in the European Union 85%, 15% in 2016. And we would have had an insurrection to stop Brexit in 2019 if Twitter was anything to go by. That's the first point. Secondly, that first tweet, there are two separate points being made. The first tweet, I think that's quite obvious. I think it's quite common sense. I'm saying it's an indictment on the political class that this unelected guy is putting a better face forward for the country than Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, Theresa May, Keir Starmer. Do you think people get excited about, I'm not saying they get excited about Prince Charles. Okay, Charles is here, interesting, a bit different. Do you think it's a sort of political moment when any of those figures go to a foreign country? Is it like JFK in Berlin, or Thatcher, or Blair, or Reagan? I'm sorry, I don't think it is. I mean, I'm not suggesting all those people are lovely figures. I don't like Thatcher. I don't like Reagan. I don't like Blair. But clearly they had a really powerful political brand. Now, when we have the British Prime Minister go to these places, let's be real, nobody gives a toss. And so it's an indictment on the political class and really how Magnolia and non-entity-ish they are, that actually this guy who's not been elected by anybody has an arguably stronger political brand. So that was my point. It was an indictment on the political class. And that's a major problem, Michael, for Republicans and Democrats in this country, not in the US sense. It's a major problem for Republicans and Democrats in this country that an unelected head of state has a more powerful and potent and interesting political brand than any major politician in the government. Sorry, it just is. And let's see, and right now this is just speculation, it's just my opinion. Look at the opinion polls in terms of favorability on Charles in Germany compared to Sunak or Starmer or Johnson or May. First point. And like I say, that is an indictment on the political class. If people want to disagree on Twitter, they're welcome to, but I think they're wrong. It's two different things, popularity and being correct, Michael. I found that out the hard way. Now, the second tweet, there's a bit of banter there. There's a bit of banter there, isn't there? There's a bit of banter there, isn't there? So what, I say, Drake's ties? Well, look, Drake's ties are 100, I don't know, just the record.
Should we get it up again? Let's get it up again. Nice voice, Drake's ties, radical green politics in an understated way, a quiet internationalism, while not bleating about how everyone you disagree with is a racist. A few things a successful left can take from Mr. Charles Windsor. This is the one that really got people annoyed.
Good. I'm glad they're annoyed. First of all, I said Mr. Charles Windsor, so I'm referring to him as a private citizen because I'm a Republican. He shouldn't be the monarch. Secondly, I don't own a Drake's tie. Just to make this clear.
What is a Drake's tie, actually? Because that was
Drake's
my one.
A very nice tie maker in London, Michael. But anyway, park that. It's just a bit of tongue in cheek, isn't it? Nice voice. Now, this is actually, besides the banter, and this was a bit more of a banter tweet than the first one. The first tweet, I mean in its entirety, Michael. It is an indictment. And I think I'm entirely correct. I don't care what Twitter says. The second tweet, a bit tongue-in-cheek, a bit of a joke. But I would say this, Michael. If you want to build a coalition to push back on climate change that wins, it can't just be people that look like you and me, talk like you and me, on the radical left, young people doing direct action. It can't just be that. It can't. It might be nice to hang around and talk to people that look and sound like yourself. I love it, Michael. I love hanging out with you. We have the same interests. But if you're trying to build a social movement with a critical mass to change things, particularly on something like climate change, we're going to need more, bourgeois boomers with nice voices wearing, double-breasted blazers saying that we can't have 2 degrees warming. And if we do, then that's the end of the road for society as we know it. We're going to have those people in any successful movement, right? A successful movement on climate has people that look like that. It does. It just does. And it would have to be a cross-class coalition. It just would. And I know that, again, it's not particularly popular. And by the way, it's not especially easy. And it's incredibly rare. but it is important. And so I think that's something that was really a bit of a joke tweet, but there's a kernel of seriousness there, which is if people are serious about the climate crisis, serious about change, well, yeah, there's people that you wouldn't normally associate with who are necessary to bring inside that coalition. Now, you bring them inside because of shared values and shared objectives. You don't water down the objectives, but my God, Michael, for every activist, for every left-wing journalist, we're going to need some bourgeois boomer with a rather melodious voice as well. That's what a successful movement on climate change will look like.